the church.
Immediately after swearing in May, members of the 11th Parliament will enter plenary to elect the next Speaker and Deputy. 3 people have already shown interest in presiding over parliamentary business, including the incumbent Rebecca Kadaga, her deputy Jacob Oulanyah, and the opposition's chief whip Ibrahim Semujonganda. In Wednesday's sitting, there was heated exchanges as MPs took positions on who will be Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the 11th Parliament. Government Chief Whip Nankabirwa was accused of undermining Kadaga's candidature in favor of Oulanyah. Several MPs accused Nankabirwa of sending WhatsApp messages to MPs, claiming that the NRM Central Executive Committee had already endorsed Oulanyah for the speakership.
Right Honourable Speaker, on most of the forums, the Chief Whip has been seen writing that SEC has decided, that SEC, that State House is saying and it has said. It is true. We are in a multi-party democracy. But somebody to be a speaker becomes a speaker for all of us. Does not become a speaker for NRM. So I think your discussions in SEC can be pedestrian discussions, can be corridor whispers. They will not bind this house.
I reached out to Nankabirwa for clarification on the issues that were raised against her in the house.
So they were jumping off and, order. And yet I was on the floor to say what I posted. I didn't complete the story. And I must thank you that you followed me up to my home here in the village to tell Ugandans who were denied the opportunity of listening to my story. My story was a reminder of what SEC has been doing. SEC has to do the vetting.
Nankabirwa asserts that in 2016 there was a similar contestation between Kadaga and Oulanyah for the speakership, but the Central Executive Committee caucused to convince Oulanyah to bow out of the race in favor of Kadaga.
One was convinced to step down for the other, at least to complete her 10 years. I'm one of those who persuaded Right Honourable Jacob Oulanyah in his office, persuading him to step down for Right Honourable Rebecca Kadaga.
Nankabirwa adds that it's not proper for Parliament to start discussing WhatsApp conversations.
I was dragged to talk about what happened in SEC by a member who chose to bring WhatsApp messages for discussion in Parliament. That is where we have reached. It's unfortunate.
While exchanging words during yesterday's session, Kadaga said the Central Executive Committee has no right to bind a future Parliament. But Nankabirwa has responded to this.
I don't think the Central Executive Committee has a right to bind a future Parliament before even they're elected. That's undemocratic, totally undemocratic.
So equally, the speakership is a very, very, very important position where SEC, the Central Executive Committee of NRM, has to participate.
In the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee report on the Constitutional Amendments Bill tabled by Ndora East MP Wilfred Nwagaba, there is a proposal to create a panel of speakers. Nankabirwa opposes this proposal.
If you have a redundant deputy and you have really tried to spearhead Parliament without a deputy, so now you go ahead to create a panel of speakers. I think we should look at ways of enhancing coordination between the speaker and the deputy.
Kadaga spent 2 terms as deputy speaker and 2 other terms as speaker, and if elected again, this will be her 3rd term as Speaker of Parliament. Her deputy Oulanyah has also spent 2 terms as deputy speaker, but feels now is the right time to be elevated. Herbert Kamoga, NTV.